Bison Information Network News. I'm Heather Viker.
And I'm Hannah Schlosser.
A massive tank fire in West Fargo burned 1,200 barrels of diesel fuel on Sunday. The fire burned from around 5:30 in the morning until about 3 in the afternoon, until it was finally subdued by 500 gallons of foam. The Magellan Pipeline Company, which owns the tanks, has claimed that it's monitoring the air in the surrounding areas and has found no harmful results as of Monday. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And now we head over to James Porter with our weekend weather update. What can we expect?
If you look, today actually wasn't all that bad. Highs getting up to 23 and lows 16. However, we do have a chance of precipitation if you do see, so we're probably going to get about 1 to 3 inches tonight, so you might want to wake up a little early to be able to brush off your car. But if we go into tomorrow, it's going to be another mild one. Highs will get up to 21 and -2 will be the lows. It will, however, be a little more windy with winds up to 12 miles per hour. If we look into the future forecast, though, it is looking very nice. As Sunday to Wednesday, it's going to be a mirror image of itself. But you want to notice first, Saturday we do have a chance of snow. So we do have a couple chances of snow, but after that it will be nice and sunny. We have 30 on Sunday, 32 on Monday, 30 on Tuesday, and 32 on Wednesday. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, James. After the break, Nurse Educator of the Year and the 3-minute Thesis Competition.
When we come back.
3 minutes is not a lot of time, especially to present something that you've worked on for years. Today's 3-minute Thesis Competition did just that by challenging NDSU graduate students to present their thesis in just 3 minutes. Bison Information Network reporter James Porter had a chance to see what their research is all about.
Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself." 40 participating NDSU graduate students took on the challenge to do just that, and in only 180 seconds. Students came from various research fields and were researching many different topics.
I'm trying to make virtual reality games for the education industry, mostly targeted towards teachers and trainers who want to kind of communicate difficult to understand concepts or activities or actions to people in an interactive way.
So my research that I'm presenting today is working with anti-predator club cell evaluation in insular fishes. In other words, fishes that no longer live with any other species of fish and therefore are isolated on little islands of water from all other species.
Although all of the presentations were very diverse, they all had one thing in common. All of the researchers were looking to better the current state of their field of study.
If anything, maybe I could have one little piece of the puzzle that may help these guys fight the extinction that they're facing.
When the students were asked, they all said they were very thankful for this experience. They also said that being able to compete and talk about their research was a challenge, but one they were glad they took. Reporting for Bison Information Network News, I'm James Porter.
This year's winner, Farnaz Hulati, talked about the role of gut bacteria in weight loss. She'll go on to compete in the national competition in Las Vegas next month.
An NDSU faculty member in the architecture program has been named as the recipient of a national award. Malini Srivastava, an assistant professor of architecture, received the 2018 Young Architects Award from the American Institute of Architects. Srivastava was one of 18 honorees from across the country. The award honors those who demonstrate exemplary leadership as well as having achieved big accomplishments early on in their careers. Bison Information Network recently covered the eFargo team led by Srivastava that won the $5 million Georgetown University Energy Prize.
Another NDSU faculty member is in the spotlight. Abigail Vetter was named the North Dakota Nurse Educator of the Year from the North Dakota Nursing Students Association. Vetter is an assistant professor of practice in the NDSU School of Nursing. She started her career as an environmental engineer before becoming an acute care pediatric nurse practitioner. Coming up, how the bookstore is helping local animal shelters and a look at today's Hollywood and Health Minutes.
Stay with us. A shelter in the area got an unexpected treat. The NDSU bookstore hosted a sidewalk sale where they offered popcorn for a free will donation. The bookstore then gave that money to Homeward Animal Shelter here in Fargo. The bookstore brought over $200 to the shelter on Giving Hearts Day and was able to be matched with their amount. Even though the bookstore is looking to make money, they say it's important to give back to the community.
Giving to nonprofits, and especially the Homeward Animal Shelter. There's so many worthy cats and dogs there that are looking to be adopted, and so they're our close neighbors just in North Fargo here, so I thought it was a great place to donate to, and they were very, very appreciative.
Though this was planned on short notice, it was one of their best fundraisers. Because of the success of this fundraiser, the bookstore is planning on doing more fundraisers like this in the future.
It was another year for Battle of the Senses fundraiser at NDSU. Ambassadors from the College of Engineering and the College of Health Professions went head-to-head to raise money for a former student diagnosed with cancer.
West Fargo native Tyler Robertson came to NDSU to study engineering until he was diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is a treatable but not curable cancer in the brain. Change counted as positive points, as dollars count as negative to deem a winner. All money going towards Robertson's medical funds. In the end, the College of Engineering won the competition, but the College of Health Professions raised more money.
And when we come back, we'll have a Bison Sports update, as well as a look at the U.S. Olympic hockey game.
Stay tuned.
The North Dakota State men's basketball team honored seniors A.J. Jacobson and Paul Miller, along with junior Spencer Eliason, who played in their final home game as a Bison. They welcomed the Mastodons of Fort Wayne, who beat them early on in the year, 92-88. Pick it up right away in the first half. Early on in the game, Bryson Scott, he jukes out Paul Miller and gets the tough contested layup over Eliason to go. The Mastodons would be up 2 early on. John Conchar, he hits a fadeaway jumper. Mastodons would go up 9 at that point. They're up 15-6. A.J. Jacobson hits a cutting Tyson Ward for a little kiss off the glass. Bison are down 5 at that point. Paul Miller, he gets the steal, passes ahead to Tyson Ward, who finds Dangu underneath the hoop, and he gets the slam. The Bison are still down 5, and Fort Wayne would take a 40-32 lead going into the half. Tyson Ward finds a wide open A.J. Jacobson, who buries a 3. The Bison are still down 5. Paul Miller here takes it in. He gets rejected, but Tyson Ward cleans up the miss. The damage has already been done, though, as the Mastodons are up 8 with just under a minute left. Bryson Scott hits a wild spinning layup over a contested Dangu. The Mastodons will go up 84-72. A.J. Jacobson led the way with 14 points and 6 rebounds. Paul Miller also had 14 points and 7 rebounds. Next up for the Bison, they travel to Macomb to take on the Leathernecks of Western Illinois. Tip is scheduled for 7 p.m. The women's basketball team is wrapping up their season with the final 2 games against Western Illinois and Omaha for Senior Day. Early in the season, the Leathernecks defeated the Bison 97-72. However, sophomore forward Sarah Jacobson had a career-high 26 points against the Leathernecks. They will conclude regular season play against Omaha on Saturday. After that, they will have a week to prepare for the Summit League tournament beginning on March 3rd through the 6th in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The North Dakota State University wrestling team headed down to Brookings, South Dakota to take on the 12th-ranked South Dakota State Jackrabbits. The Border Bell was up for grabs in this matchup. NDSU scored victories in the first 2 contests with Clay Ream and Andrew Fogarty picking up key wins to put the Bison up 6-0. After that, it was all Jackrabbits, as they would go on to win the next 3 matches to take an 11-6 lead. After an NDSU victory at 285, the Jackrabbits would go on to win the next 3 matches and go up 22-9. NDSU would win the last match, but they would lose the duel 22-12. Next up for the Bison is the Big 12 Wrestling Tournament beginning March 3rd through the 4th. The Bison took on Cal State Fullerton for the final game of the San Diego State Campbell Cartier Classic. The softball team defeated the Titans 9-8 in the first game of the weekend. After falling behind 1-0 in the second inning, the Bison bats came alive in the top of the 3rd. Montana DeCamp delivered a 3-run homer for the Herd to cap the scoring. They would take a 5-1 lead all the way to the 5th inning when they erupted for 4 runs. Danny Renner hit a 3-run homer for the Bison to put them up 9-1, and then the scientist Jacqueline Surdick sat down the Titans in order to end the game. Surdick helped limit the Titans to just 1 run on 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, and issued no walks. The Bison would finish the weekend at 3-2 overall and move to 5-5 overall on the young season. Next up for the Herd, they traveled to Durham, North Carolina for the Duke inaugural tournament. Danny Renner led the way for the Bison at the plate, going 1-for-1 with 2 walks and 3 RBIs. The Bison will open up the tournament against the Duke Blue Devils on March 2nd at 4 p.m. The Bison wrapped up their series with the Incarnate Word Cardinals this past Sunday afternoon. They were looking to win the series and improved to 3-1 on the young season. However, the Bison were held scoreless until the 8th inning, where they plated 2 runs, and it was too little, too late, as the damage had already been done. The Cardinals plated 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th and were up 5-0 before the 8th, and they added 1 more run in the bottom of the 8th for insurance. The Cardinals go on to win 6-2 and drop the Bison to a 2-2 record overall. The Herd will now travel to Florida for a 3-game series against Central Connecticut State beginning on Friday afternoon. The 2018 NBA All-Star Weekend took place this past weekend in Los Angeles. It was full of 3-point dunks and a competitive All-Star game. The Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker took home the crown in the 3-point contest. He set a record for points in a round with 28 out of a possible 34. In the dunk contest, the Utah Jazz's Donovan Mitchell won, with his final dunk being a tribute to one of Vince Carter's classics. The first ever All-Star game in the new format was highly competitive as Team LeBron outlasted Team Curry, winning 148-145. The 2019 All-Star Weekend will be held in Charlotte, North Carolina. The last time the United States and Canada met in the gold medal game, the United States gave up a 2-goal lead in the final 4 minutes of regulation, where Canada would go on to win in overtime 3-2. The United States was trying to end Canada's run of 4 straight gold medals. The USA women's hockey team pulled off their own miracle overnight, claiming a gold medal for the first time since 1998. USA defeated Canada 3-2 in an intense shootout. The game was far from easy. Regulation time ended with a 2-2 tie, and when a 20-minute overtime didn't produce a goal, a penalty shootout also ended in a 2-2 tie. That sent it into a sudden death shootout with 28-year-old Jocelyn Lamoureux Davidson, a University of North Dakota grad, scored on a triple D goal, and USA goaltender Maddie Rooney stuffing the last 2 Canadians to wrap up a gold medal. Rooney says after she made the save and saw her teammates sprinting towards her, it was indescribable. The U.S., as we just said, Hillary Knight opened up the scoring for the United States, and they wouldn't score until Monique Lamoureux goal and breakaway in the 3rd period, sending it in overtime. And 38 years ago, the miracle happened when the United States of men, full of a bunch of college kids, went on and beat the Soviets. It was 38 years ago, so that's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty cool story to have 2 miracles 38 years apart.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Stay tuned after the break for this week's Bison on the Street. Months of preparation and excitement for the Olympics are finally coming live.
With its endless events, it's easy to say that every one of us waits for something different in the Olympics and has reasons behind doing so.
This week's Bison on the Street headed out to see what NDSU students are most eager about in the 2018 Olympics and what their favorite events are.
The Olympic event is the USA track and field. My favorite event in track and field is probably the long jump.
My favorite part of the Olympics is probably the opening ceremony. I like to see all the colors of the flags and all the different people from the countries.
I'd just say that my favorite event actually is probably curling, just because it's on all the time and I watch it all the time in class, and it's actually extremely interesting, even though it's really hard to follow sometimes.
Men's hockey, because for the first time in about 30 years, the Olympics decided not to allow NHL players to play in the Olympics.
The Olympic event is snowboarding, giant slalom, because I like to snowboard.
I'm a big fan of the skeleton, just because it's kind of like a bobsled and it makes everything look a lot easier.
I'm always amazed at how well those figure skaters do. Sometimes I just struggle walking to class on the ice on campus, so it's pretty cool.
Thank you so much for watching this edition of Bison Information Network News.
Be sure to catch us back here next week at 7 p.m. for our newscast.
And be sure to check us out on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel.
Have a great night, everyone.